Hey Trey, I hope you've been well. Just want to talk about entering this season. How was your off season? What do you think you did? What's the biggest leap you think you took?
The off season, I definitely just been working on my game, shooting, watching a lot of film, learning a lot more about the offense, learning flaws I have in my own game, just working on things that will take my game to the next level, and just put myself in the best position to help this team.
You guys lost a couple of leaders in Matt Mitchell, Jordan Shackle. I guess how do you kind of fill that void, and what have you done to kind of possibly take the reins?
Like you just said, just working on my game, just trying to get the most potential out of myself that I can. Picking up on stuff that Matt and Jordan did leadership wise, talking to guys. Matt was big at talking to guys, getting guys going. So that's something that I've been trying to work on. Just being more vocal, leading these guys by example, and just doing those type of things to keep what they started going.
Last question for me. You guys open up the season tomorrow. You're picked to finish second in the Mountain West Conference. Does that give you like a chip on your shoulder going in, especially being the back-to-back champs?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know that we all feel like we're the best team in the conference always, but at the same time, we're not too worried about it at the end of the day. I mean, we're gonna have to play everybody. Everybody have to play us. So, I mean, we'll definitely be able to showcase what we can do when the time's right.
Thanks. Best of luck.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Julian. We'll go to Mark.
Hi, Trey. Wondering, as you've seen this team now for 6 weeks of preseason practice, what are one or two things that you think this team does really, really well, and what are one or two things that you think maybe you're a little bit concerned about or you need to improve?
Always, I think that we guard at a high level. I think that we have guys that step up and score the ball. It's hard to tell in practice, like we talked about before, just with how we play defense and stuff like that. But I definitely think through the course of the season, with our guys that step up, with big scoring performances and stuff like that. Things that we want to work on with so many new guys, just the chemistry still. I think that'll come along with more games further in the season. Chemistry, just learning how to play with each other, things like that.
This team has four players who are left-handed, and there could be times this season when three of them are on the floor together. Obviously, left-handed players, have different preferences in the way where they want the ball, where they drive, where they shoot. How different is that for you as a point guard and as a team? Is that something when you talk about getting used to each other? Is that an adjustment you'd have to make?
Not really. I think it's more of an advantage on our end. Just when you play against a guy that's left-handed, it's a little bit unorthodox. Like you're not used to it. It's kind of they do things a little bit backwards, I guess you could say. So I mean, I think it's more of an advantage. Chad and Matt, I mean, they do a lot of stuff in practice with the left that you're not used to, just because you're used to guys with the right hand. So I mean, like I said, I think it's just an advantage.
And last thing for me, this schedule is really hard. I mean, even, the game tomorrow night that's not supposed to be a hard game, EC Riverside's a really good team. One of the biggest teams in the country, finished third, last season in the Big West, took USC to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach this schedule? Is this what you guys want as players to play a schedule like this?
Yeah, most definitely. This one I want for sure. I mean, I think we're just taking it one game at a time, though. Just focus on the team that's ahead of us, and then after we get done with that one, we'll go to the next one. But I think that playing a high-level schedule like that would definitely prepare us for the late season, the tournament, stuff like that. So I think it'll only benefit us, especially for our conference, too. If we playing against these teams, beating these teams, being able to play with them, then we for sure would be able to do the same thing in our conference.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. We'll go to John.
Trey, what do you guys need to do collectively as a team tomorrow night to beat UC Riverside?
Just stay on the same page defensively. We've been going through a lot of the actions with scout and stuff like that. They run some difficult stuff. Coach has been on us heavy. They play like an Air Force, Princeton type style offense. So you have to be locked in for the whole clock, whole 30, and just stay connected, and just even if they go on runs, stuff like that, just stay connected as a team and just push through.
What do you see on film from their young guard, Pulliam, who put together a really good year last year in the shortened season?
From what they've shown us, he looked like a real good player. Gets downhill real well. From his stats, he looked like he could shoot it well. He don't shoot it a lot, but he looks like he can knock him down when he open. So, I mean, he looks like a guy that, I mean, that's the main guy for them. He creates their offense. He starts it for them. So, I mean, he looks like a good player.
What was it like for the exhibition game, just getting back in front of fans again?
It felt good, especially after last year being in an empty gym. It definitely felt good having the support, having the fans there, playing in front of the show. We got to see our old grandma back in the gym. So, I mean, it was good. It was good to see everybody.
Let's start with that, Matt. What does that mean to you to be recognized in the preseason for such a high honor?
It means a lot, these past 3 years I've known I put in a lot of work up at Cal. Didn't necessarily show from a team standpoint, but individually, I had, decent success when it came to, scoring, do whatever, attracts, that type of recognition. But, I'm really looking forward to this year, not just, getting better as a player, but being on a team where we're going to be really successful. So.
Trey was just telling us in your prep for UC Riverside, the coaches have been on you guys a little bit because it's a little bit of an unconventional offense that they'll run. There's some Princeton style in there, and obviously you've had a full prep with it being game one. But what do you see from UC Riverside on tape?
I'm from San Bernardino, and UC Riverside is not too far from me, so I know a couple of the guys on the team, and this is my first time actually really, observing their offense, and it's pretty good. Our scout team, they're working us in practice every day with it, and we're getting better. It is kind of unconventional, but I think, with our defensive style, we're going to be ready come game day, and, as long as we just keep putting in work and trusting in the coaches, we're going to be all right. So, yeah.
Has it been beneficial for you to go through the scrimmages and the exhibition? Obviously, a little bit of a different experience playing UCLA in a closed scrimmage and then a non-D1 in St. Catherine. But what do you think you've learned about yourself and the team in those two opportunities?
Definitely learned that, going against each other in practice is way different than when it comes to actual game day. Competing against Trey, Keshad, Adam, everybody on the team has been really tough, when it comes to scoring and, just playing. And, I felt a lot easier going against UCLA as far as from an offensive standpoint, especially St. Catherine. So our defense is special, and, I never really faced it prior to, coming here to San Diego State. So I think if we just keep pushing each other in practice, that's how we should all feel when it comes game day. It should be a lot easier.
Thanks, Matt. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. We'll go to Mark.
Man, I noticed you took yourself out. It looked like pretty early in that game, right before the first media, but then you played through it in the second half. Is that just the conditioning aspect of playing defense in a different style, or how are you going to sort that out as the season goes on?
Yeah, I think just throughout the season, I'm gonna get in better shape. It's early in the season. I put in a lot of work, but I think as season wears on, I'll get into better shape. But also, it's just my adrenaline pumping too. I was very excited for that first game. Just seeing the crowd and just wearing the Aztec jersey for the first time. I was really anxious to get out there. I was sweating and, going up and down for 4 minutes, it really felt like 16 due to the circumstances. So I think, getting that first game jitters out the way will, also, show a little that I'm in better shape than it looked like. But, I think I got to just keep working. So.
You're obviously a lefty, but on this team, you've got a bunch of lefties. And I was just saying to Trey, there's probably instances that you'll have three on the floor at the same time. What's that like to play with other lefties, and maybe how's it different for the defense and for you on offense?
Yeah, I think when it comes to scouting and stuff and, just when you play defense, you automatically assume that the guy's right-handed shooting. So whether you close out or force him a certain way, I've noticed, being left-handed, I'm definitely, getting favored to my strong hand in most cases without them really realizing it. And I think if that's the case for, I believe, I know there's a couple other guys on the team that are lefties, not too sure who they are right now, but for them, it's going to be, just as equally, fun to, be forced a certain way and then have another teammate out there that's, going through the same thing. So, I think lefties are special in the game of basketball.
Last thing for me, obviously you mentioned the defense being elite, one of the best in the country, but at least in the first two preseason games, you guys have struggled on keeping teams off the offensive boards. and completing defensive play. What do you think the issue is there, and how do you plan to correct that?
I think we just have to be really mindful of it. Our team is full of great athletes, and I think there's certain moments where we think we can just jump up and get it, that we actually need to just find a body and hit somebody. And, you know, when you have a team full of athletes, I think the automatic thought is just to jump up for the ball and grab it. But, you know, you got guys that are less athletic, smaller, that are actually carving out space, trying to get the ball. So we're just realizing we got to do the same thing in a lot of cases. And I think, you know, that's something they've been drilling in practice for sure every day is fighting the body, boxing out, and then jumping up in the air and getting it. So we're just going to keep working on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Julian, you're up.
Hey Matt, I just want to ask you, you know, what's the potential that this team has? I know you guys are still kind of finding your identity, but what's that potential?
I think the potential is great. You know, like I've been saying, you know, I can't really say right now what it's going to look like, but I know at the end of the season when we look back on the year we had, we're going to be very pleased with the results. And something you can't teach is experience. You know, you got a lot of guys in here that are older. My fourth year, you know, you got some fifth-year guys. You got some people that have been in the program for multiple years. So when you got that type of, you know, age and leadership, I think we'll be able to combat conflict very well and, you know, continue to just get better. So I think the potential is, you know, through the roof for sure.
Do you have any, like, you know, pre-season jitters knowing that tomorrow it all kicks off and for the next couple of months you're just locked in a basketball season until March?
Yeah, I know, you know, the exhibition game doesn't really count, but, you know, being in that arena, it felt like a real game as far as the atmosphere. Obviously, you know, no, I know St. Catherine's is a different level, but, you know, they came out and competed. And I'm just, you know, I think you see Riverside playing against a team that's close to home. This is more like a second game for me than a first. So, yeah, I'm excited, though. I think we're going to be ready to go.